come straight into our tabletop position and into our cow and cat this morning. We'll start to get the body warmed up straight away as we flex and extend through the spine, tuning in with each breath. So inhale, we're lifting the tailbone, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart forward, gazing forward. On the exhale, tailbone tuck, belly button draws in, shoulders driving forward, chin to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Nice way to lengthen the spine, first thing getting out of bed. And we take another 3 rounds with the option to tuck the toes if you haven't already. So we're going to start to bring a little bit of length through the soles of the feet. We'll complete one more round. And from there, we'll flatten the tops of the feet, come back down to the floor. Spreading the fingers nice and wide on the mat. We're going to do some finger presses to warm up through the forearms and start to build that strength through the wrist and fingers. So if you haven't done this exercise before, pressing the fingertips and the knuckles of your hands into the mat, and we're just lifting the base or the heel of the palm, and then we'll lower. So we're going to do that in repetitions of 20 for 3 rounds. And between each round, we'll sit back on the heels, and I'll demonstrate that one when we get there actually. So all of the weight comes forward into the hands. Try to minimize the amount of work coming through the hips and core. Just trying to contract with the forearms to lift the palm of the hand. Let's go for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then from there, sitting back on your heels. So use your thumbs, wrap all of your fingers, and then we've got some resistance so we can flick the fingers as hard as we can out of the hand. For 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we repeat both of those 2 more times. Hands come back down, bring the weight back into the fingertips and knuckles, and we'll lift the heel of the hand. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If it's already starting to get difficult, you're not alone. They fatigue quite quickly, so let's wrap the fingers and we'll flick them out for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time, hands come back down. Our last 20, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and flip them out. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give the wrist a little bit of a shake. Interlace the fingers. We'll take the wrist in full range of motion one direction, so we'll do 3 circles one way, and then we'll do 3 circles the other way. We'll take it into our first downward facing dog, hands coming back to the floor, toes tucked. We'll feel a little bit more activation through the forearms now after working through that exercise. So driving your fingertips, knuckles, and palms of the hands into the floor. You're going to lengthen through the torso. You can take a moment to pedal out through the legs to create a little extra length or space between the backs of the legs through your hamstrings. We'll scoop the tailbone high to the sky. Then we'll slow that walking motion, stationary downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, sigh, release. Breath in nose. Exhale mouth. Breath in. Exhale. So at the moment, tailbone is scooping up towards the sky. It will take it the opposite direction. I'm going to draw it under the body as if you're trying to draw your tailbone towards your forehead, flexing through the abdomen, coming through to a high plank. So we get that engagement of flexion through the abdominals. Then we just start to lower the hips slightly, so hips, shoulders, and heels are in line. Shoulders protracting forward, press and squeeze the floor away. We'll lower the knees to the mat. We'll take chest and chin to the mat. We'll scoop and slide the body through, baby cobra. Tops of the feet flatten, pelvis to the floor. Belly button draws in, shoulders rolling back. Tuck your toes and taking the hips all the way back to the heels as you exhale. Inhale, straighten through the legs. Exhale, pressing the heels back and downward facing dog. We'll do that again. Tailbone tucks under the body. Flexion through the abdomen. Come all the way through to your high plank. Adjust the hips. Keep the core engaged. Knees, chest, chin. Lower to the mat. Scoop and slide through. Breath in. Maybe the option this time to flatten the tops of the feet. Lift the thighs. Upward facing dog as you press the floor away. And then either tucking the toes, child pose, or pressing straight back to your downward facing dog, which will all meet in downward facing dog. And one last time, tailbone draws under the body, roll it all the way through to your high plank. This time through, if you'd like to take your Chaturanga Dandasana, we'll bend into the elbows for the low plank position, otherwise take your knees, chest and chin. Lift and open through the heart, breath in. Downward facing dog, exhale. And from downward facing dog, small steps all the way in towards the hands as you come to ragdoll at the top of your mat. Heavy through the body, drop over the legs. I like to bring some movement here, you can sway the body from side to side. Check in that the neck and the crown of the head are relaxed and the whole upper body drops down over your legs, sinking down to the earth. Hands release to the mat, chin towards your chest, belly button draws in, slow roll up through each of the vertebrae, do rise to standing. We'll sweep the arms up and overhead. Take a Tadasana, arms releasing down by your side, exhale. Roll through the shoulders, 3 times one direction. Let's reverse that direction. Returning to Tadasana, arms by your side, palms face forward. Upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana, arms sweeping overhead, gaze towards the thumbs. Uttanasana, folding forward, straight legs, exhale. Adho Uttanasana, lengthen the spine, breath in. And then slide your left leg to the back of the mat, exhale. And sweep the arms to the sky to a high lunge, breath in. We'll hold this for the exhale. So pressing through the left toe tips, drive through the front foot, square, level the hips. A little activation through the core here, draw the belly button in, roll your shoulders back, reach out high through the fingertips. Exhale, hold. Inhale, breath. Hands coming down to the mat, exhale. Take that through your flow, or you might prefer to step straight back to your downward facing dog. So we go high to low, open through heart. Downward facing dog, exhale. From downward facing dog, right leg floats high to the sky. Tiger curl knee through to either your chest or your forehead. Hold for breath in. Step the right foot through between the hands. Swivel on the back foot so the little toe is parallel to the back edge of the mat. The hips are now open to the left side of the mat and the left arm sweeps forward, up and open, warrior 2. Reaching actively out through the fingertips, strong through the legs. That adduction between the legs is trying to squeeze everything in towards the center. We'll hold here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 2. And for 1. We'll windmill the left hand back up and overhead, down towards the floor. Let's step this back, take it back through your vinyasa, your float. Low plank, open heart, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we start to walk the feet back in towards the hands at the front of the mat, meeting in a halfway lift. Fold it forward on the exhale. Rise to standing, arms sweeping overhead. Take a Tadasana, arms by your side, exhale. Reaching overhead, breath in. Fold it forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen. Right foot slides to the back of the mat, exhale. Thigh press in your high lunge, inhale. So press through the feet, right toe tips, left foot. Drive the right hip forward, left hip back. Maybe a little tuck of the tailbone. Belly button draws in, shoulders draw back. Reach to the sky, 2 more breaths. We have 1 more inhale. And then hands coming down to the mat, exhale. Stepping back, high plank. Low plank. Open through heart. Downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, tiger curl, left leg to the sky. Knee through to chest or forehead. Inhale. Step down between the hands. Right foot swivels parallel to the back edge of the mat, hips open. Right arm sweeps forward, up and over, warrior 2, 5 breaths. Drive through the feet, feeling the glutes squeeze on. That adduction between the legs, trying to pull them together, shoulders rolling back and down, torso directly above the pelvis. We have 2 more breaths. Right arm reaching overhead, comes back down to the floor, returning to the flow, meeting in downward facing dog. Now we start to warm and open the body a little more. You can get a little dynamic with your transitions as we gaze towards the hands. The option here to step, jump or float the feet to the top of the mat. We're taking a halfway lift. Fold forward. Rise to standing, sweeping arms overhead. Tadasana, arms by your side. Breath in, sweep arms overhead. Fold it forward, exhale. Half lift, breath in. Left leg to the back of the mat, exhale. High lunge, arms sweeping to the sky. Settle into the lunge, adjust through the body. Engage through the muscles, breath in. Arrowhead exhale. We'll start to extend through the left leg. Reach the arms back. So we still have that even weight through each of the feet. Driving through left toes. Pressing through the front foot, square the hips. You continue to hold this arrowhead position. Just sweep the left hand forward, reach it towards the front of the room. You're going to start to inhale the left arm to the sky, bringing the torso up, maybe reaching the right hand down the back of the left leg. Take a little reverse in your lunge. Now we windmill the arms the opposite direction. Left hand forward, down to the earth. Right arm to the front of the room, warrior 2. And this ran through warrior 2, flipping the front palm. Reverse the warrior, breath in. Holding the reverse shape through the torso, extend through the right leg, reverse triangle. Use the inhale to come up through center, to begin to reach forward, Trikonasana, for external rotation through the legs, glutes squeezing on, as the right hand reaches down to either shin, ankle, or floor, and your left arm floats to the sky. So in this posture, same as your warrior 2 lunge, with that adduction between the legs, still trying to squeeze everything into the middle of the mat, and the glutes are engaged because the legs are both in external rotation from the hip, or the corkscrewing into the floor. Equal length through both sides of the body, shoulders drawing back. So we'll keep this same shape through the upper body as we start to bend into the right knee, into your extended side angle. We'll float the top arm overhead. So if you prefer more support in your side angle, you can always bring the right forearm to rest on your thigh, otherwise it rests to the inside of the front leg. Take a low lunge twist from here. Left hand comes down to the floor, swivel onto your left toes, and float your right arm to the sky. Hips are squared forward, rotation through the torso, shoulders draw back. Take your left hand just that little bit further forward and off to the left side. We're going to swivel all of our toes towards the right side of the mat, so that means blade edge of the back foot, and the right foot points off to the right side of the mat. And then we start to lower the hips and reach towards the back leg, roll the shoulders back. You can always come onto the blade edge of the front foot as well, opening a little extra through the hips. Take both hands down to the inside of your right foot. We'll step the left foot through to the front of the mat. Malasana in our squatting position. So knees and toes tracking out the same direction. Option to modify Malasana by lifting the hips slightly if the heels don't quite ground. Palms press together and prayer draws back, collecting the knees. Broaden across the collarbones, draw the shoulders back. So we're going to revisit Malasana a few times through this class. And with each round, if you prefer to stay in the squat, you can hold in the squat. Otherwise, I'm going to introduce a different arm balance in each visit. So our first is to get familiar with the weight coming into the hands as we come into our crow pose. Hands come to the floor, knees to the triceps. By shifting the shoulders forward, we bring that center of balance above the wrists. We can float the feet up. We'll hold here for 4 breaths. Floated up into your crow, we'll gently set that down into Malasana, returning to squat. Everyone, hands come down to the floor, straighten through the legs as you heel toe your feet together, taking your half lift. Fold it forward, exhale. And rise to standing, sweep arms overhead. Straight back into Uttanasana this round, folding forward, straight legs. Half lift, breath in. Right foot to the back of the mat, exhale. High lunge, arm sweep to the sky. Exhale into the lunge. Inhale, reach through fingertips. Arrowhead, arms float back, exhale. Lift up through the heart. Drive down through the feet, square through hips. This time it's just the right arm reaching forward. And we'll hold there. With the option to add the reverse, reaching the right arm to the sky, slide the left arm down the back leg, open up through the front of your body. And a big windmill to Warrior 2. Right arm sweeps down, left arm overhead, Warrior 2. So this round Warrior 2, we add the reverse, flip the palm, inhale, exhale. We can extend through left leg, reverse triangle. Squeeze your glutes on as we inhale through center, keeping all the support through the legs for Trikonasana. Left hand, shin ankle on floor, right arm overhead. Into extended side angle, softening into the right knee, the left knee, and the right hand overhead. Low lunge twist, right hand comes down to the floor, toe tips of the back foot, square out the hips. Then we float the left arm to the sky. Prepare to open up through the entire right side of the body, so we shift the right hand a little further forward into the side, turn all the toes to the left edge of the mat, and then begin to lower the hips. So the hips move in towards the wrist as they lower. And we extend and reach back, shoulders roll back, and then we can also move onto the blade edge of the front foot. And then we come through to Malasana, squatting at the front of the mat, hands to the inside of left foot, right foot steps forward. So let's start in a squat, palms pressed together, elbows draw back. So this round, there's the option for the shoulder pressing pose. So we start to lift the hips, and bring the hands back, and the fingertips line up with the backs of the heels, and we start to bring the palms of the hands down to the floor. So there's a big bend in the elbows here as we gently sit bones back onto the backs of the triceps. And maybe you'll just hold here with that pressure coming through the hands. Or as we start to squeeze the knees in towards the shoulders, maybe bring the feet together, pressing them, and hovering. And then it's a little bit tricky. Bring them back into Malasana, even if you have to fall onto your butt first. We'll come back into our squat. Press the palms together. If you're in that balance, you might even now like to just flip the backs of the hands together. So there's like a prayer where we're pressing the tops of the hands together to give the wrist a little release. And we'll take the hands down to the floor. Let's step or jump the feet back. The option to take that through your flow if you'd like to move through your vinyasa. To downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, we'll gaze to the hands. We'll step or jump the feet to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, breath in. Fold it forward on your exhale. Knees bend. Hips drop back, chair pose, Utkatasana, arms sweeping to the sky. So toes visible in front of knees. Slight tuck through the tailbone, belly button draws in, reach up high with your fingers, draw your shoulders back. And then maybe take your chair a little deeper. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to keep the bend through the knees. Weight comes into your right foot, left leg slides back. Inhale to the high lunge. Exhale to arrowhead. Inhale, left hand forward and up, maybe that little opening through the front of the body. Transition warrior two, and with an exhale, landing in your warrior two lunge. Flip into reverse warrior, breath in. Hold here for the exhale. Straighten front leg, breath in. Exhale. Up through center to Trikonasana, exhale. So a little different here. You can hold Trikonasana and move to side angle, or to create a little bit more strength or activation, let's start by sweeping the left arm overhead, and then maybe the right hand joins. And then from here, we bend into the right knee, and then we extend. And we'll do that for another 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the side angle. And bring both hands down to the floor, either side of your front foot. Stepping the right foot back into high plank. And we've got a 10-second lowering through Chaturanga Dandasana. So we start to bend and we lower for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold. Lower your knees, flatten the tops of the feet, and then drive through the arms, bring yourself all the way up to kneeling. So press the floor away, all the way up to a kneeling position. Option now to add some extra padding under the knees. You can double fold over the mat. I'm going to sweep the arms up at the front of the body, driving the tops of the feet and the shins into the floor. And we start to bring the body weight back. So hips keep driving forward, quadriceps doing all the work here. Kick through the feet, bring yourself all the way back up. So we have 10 of these. Let's go for another 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one more, all the way up, hands to the floor, tucking the toes, option to float, or make your way straight to downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, look into the hands, step, jump or float, feet to the front of the mat, halfway lift, folding forward, and chair pose, knees bend, arms sweeping to the sky. So knees back, tail tuck, core on, reach high, deep in chair. Hold, and exhale. Weight comes into left foot, right leg slides back, exhale. High lunge, arrowhead. Right arm sweeps forward, take an opening, warrior 2. Flip and reverse warrior, hold for the exhale. Straighten front leg, hold. Trikonasana, inhale, into your triangle. Holding triangle, or if you'd like to work into the legs and the core, right arm overhead, left hand joins, bending into the front knee, and straighten. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend, hands either side of front foot. Taking both feet back. 10-second chaturanga. Begin to lower. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees lower, tops of the feet flat. Press for the hands all the way back up. So one more round of these hinging motions or the reverse Nordic curl. Well, now we can add the arms. So as we come back into the legs, we can open the arms wide. As we come back up to kneeling, we'll sweep them forward. So we've got 10 of these. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. All the way up. Bend into the knees, the hips. Come down into a child's pose. You might like to bring the knees together, forehead to the floor, arms reach back. Take a little breather here. It's as much as for me as it is for you. So I also need a little break after moving through those first 2 flows. Two more breaths. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog. Arms reach forward, toes tuck, legs extend. We'll flip the right leg to the sky and step the right foot through between hands. I'm going to reach up into a high lunge. And a little bit different here. What we do is we're going to swivel our hips to open to the left side of the mat and allow the toes to also turn while we're still dropped over into the front knee. And then we're going to bring the left foot all the way up to join the right, so we're in chair pose, but facing the long edge of the mat. So weight stays over in the right leg, and then we'll sweep the left to the side. So it'll look like this. We'll open and bring it back in. We do that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Then it's a nice big step with the left leg. Come through center, Skandasana, lowering all the way over into your left knee. So Skandasana is like a combination between side lunge and your Malasana squat. So the left toes and knee are tracking in the same direction. Hands can come down for support. The right foot can be flattened, or you can also turn the toes up towards the sky. So we'll ease ourselves in, work with the exhale. So from Skandasana, we'll start to come through center, hips stay nice and low. Use your hands here, we'll pause at center. And we're going to heel toe the feet in until they come into roughly your Malasana distance. And then we're going to lower the sit bones to the floor, so bring the hands behind the hips and extend your legs out wide. I'm going to sit nice and tall. So these are leg lifts, so we're not looking for flexion through the spine. We're going to keep the spine long, and we want to activate our hip flexors. Hands come either side of the right foot or the right leg. Lengthen, point through the toes. We got 10 lifts through the right leg. So we lift and lower for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Give them a little shake. Frame up the left leg, nice and tall. 10 lifts, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower, give them a little shake. Take a little fold forward here, dropping down between the legs. Stay active through the legs and turn the toes back. Scoop the tailbone back, lengthen through the spine. And start to walk the hands back in, sitting upright. You're going to bring the hands to the middle of the hips this time. And point through the toes. Press into the floor. We're going to lift both legs. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake them out. We're building up the sweat as well. We're going to take it to the front of the mat. So we're going to take the left foot over the top of the right, hands to the floor, and we're going to slide the right leg all the way back. Basically, we're just coming into a lunge through with the left leg at the front. I'm just going to do a 180 on the mat so I can continue facing the screen. As we swing arms to the sky into our lunge. We start to open to the long edge of the mat, so the toes are pointing towards the right side. And we shift that into chair pose, facing long edge of the mat. And let's do our sweeps with the right leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Nice big step, Skandasana, right leg. Driving the feet down, working into the depth of the hips. Our last arm balance is going to have that added challenge now because we have done quite a lot of leg work. So the hip flexors might feel fatigued, the quadriceps are going to be worn, but we come back through center, hips stay low, and we heel toe the feet back into Malasana. So option 1, you may prefer just to hang out in Malasana. Option 2, we can bring the hands back behind the heels, fingers point forward. Or the third, we can take this into Tadasana, which is Firefly. What we're doing with Firefly, Just making sure we get that nice purchase on the arms. Lifting the heart forward, extend through the arms, then be able to float the feet out. I think I'm just a little bit too tired to be able to do the full extension, but basically similar to what we were doing in that seated position with the leg lifts, we'll point and lift out and through the toes. So wherever you like to go, we'll give that a shot for 3 breaths. I'm going to hold there, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll all come back into Malasana, arms and hands pressing, lengthen through spine. Let's take a twist here in Malasana. Right hand comes to the floor, triceps to the inner thigh. Follow the left fingers as they sweep to the sky. When the left hand comes down, replaces the right, tricep to thigh, right arm high. Both hands come back down. I'm going to bring the hands to the front of the mat, drop down onto your knees. Let's sweep the right shin parallel with the front of the mat, and we'll take the left out to the side, deer pose. So we have that 90-degree bend through both legs, and we'll start to fold forward over the right shin. Walk the hands back. Bring the hands all the way behind the sit bones so we can windscreen wipe knees up through center. So they sweep through center, deer pose to the back of the mat. So now we're crossing over the right shin, or the left shin, and the right shin's down the side. Walking hands back, also comes up. Hands behind sit bones, sweep through center and hold at center. From here we'll come into either wide knee child's pose or frog pose. So with a frog pose, we take the arches of the feet down to the mat. Knees are open wide. And we start to drop the chest down to the floor. Frog is a little bit too deep, then the modification would be to bring the big toes together to touch. And we'll take a wide knee child's pose instead. And we have 10 breaths in this posture, so we'll start to switch off and allow the body just to drop in, releasing the resistance. Now to exit frog, if you have space to slide forward, that's always my preference. Roll forward onto the thighs and then ease back to tabletop. Otherwise you can slowly edge the knees and feet back together into tabletop. Just take a little bit of a rock. You can draw circles with the tailbone here to release the hip flexors, the adductors. You do the circles, let's reverse the circles, opposite direction. Take it all the way up to a kneeling position called the struts and a camel pose. Hands onto the backs of the hips, shoulders rolling back. Of course, if you prefer to do your heart opening from bridge, you can come onto your back instead. So lengthen through the body, begin to shift the hips forward, belly button draws in, shoulders roll back, lift the gaze. And length through spine, return through center. I'm going to bring the knuckles, so I'm going to clench the fingers in, wrap the thumbs over, bring the knuckles to the floor, roll forward all the way towards the thumbs, and then roll back towards the fingers. A nice way to release through the wrists. And we'll take a second round of camel. Come back into our kneeling position. Top to the feet, press down, hands onto the hips. Roll through the shoulders, lengthen. Hips forward, belly button in, shoulders back. And once you're in camel, if you'd like to take that a little deeper, you can release one hand at a time to the heels. Otherwise, perfectly fine to keep hands on the hips. Driving hips forward, long belly button in, opening through the heart. The hands are on the hips, one at a time returns, or on the heels, one at a time returns to the hips. And make your way up to neutral kneeling, hands to the floor. Or again, you can take the knuckles and release. Or you can also bring the backs of the hands to the floor, fingernails press into the mat, and arms begin to lengthen. Take forearms to the mat, elbows below the shoulders, interlacing your fingers. You're going to just gently bring the crown of the head to the floor and the back of the head into the hands. And we can tuck through the toes. So we have the weight through the arms under the shoulders and just a light pressure of the crown of the head pressing into the mat. We extend through the legs and gently begin to walk the feet in. So we're just working to that point when the hips are stacked. Either holding here, working through the shoulders to press the floor away, or you might draw a foot at a time in towards the chest and extend into your headstand. So even in the headstand, we have all the weight coming through the arms, pressing down into the mat. We'll be here for 5 breaths. For 3, and 2. So if you've inverted, reversing, knees coming down, back into the reversion. Walking the feet out, knees to the mat, knees together, and taking the body back over into child's pose. Bring torso up to a kneeling position. Sweep the legs out from under the sit bones. Toes turned back, Paschimottanasana, lengthen through spine. Fold it forward, exhale. Release from the forward fold. Take a bend through the knees, feet flat to the floor. Reaching forwards and then rolling through each vertebrae down onto your back. Feet and knees hip width distance apart, heels just close enough to brush. Bridge pose, starting from the tailbone, which tucks, hips begin to lift, roll up through each of the vertebrae to the shoulders. So once you reach the shoulders, we'll walk them a little closer together, away from the ears. Lengthen through the back of the neck, chin tucked, gaze to the ceiling, hands either by your side or interlaced behind your back, palms together, fist pressed down. And then from bridge, hands release if they're interlaced. One vertebrae at a time, rolls back down onto the floor. Hips touch down, feet walk as wide as the side of the mat, knees knocking towards each other. Second round of bridge, feet and knees back to the hip width distance, heels close enough to brush. We'll roll up through the vertebrae, hips high, shoulders walk in. If you'd like to take upward bow from here, flatten the palms, press the ceiling away. Elbows bend, hands come either side of ears. Option to either first lift onto crown of head, or extend through the arms and press into your upward bow. We have a core engagement to support lower back, opening through thoracic, opening through shoulders. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Chin to chest, shoulders lower, rolling back for each vertebrae, hips to the floor. This time soles of the feet together and knees drop open wide. And hands underneath the thighs or the knees, lifting your legs up together to touch. Now flatten the spine down into the mat as you gently draw the knees towards the chest without lifting the sacrum off the floor. Maybe taking hold of the soles of the feet and lifting them into your happy baby. Happy baby, option to extend out through your left leg. And if you've extended the left leg, bend the knee, and then extend out through your right. Right knee, option to extend out through both legs. Bend both knees, draw knees to chest. Inhale, shoulders back, left leg extends. Exhale, take your twist to the left. Keep the right shoulder anchored to earth. Returning through center, knees hug to chest. A big inhale, shoulders back, right leg extends. And then take your twist to the right, exhale. Rolling back through center. One last hug of knees to chest. Opportunity for any final postures, movements, or adjustments you would like to take. And when you're ready to release into your final resting shape, take a Shavasana, legs extend. Shoulders just slightly rolling back under the body as the arms roll down by the side, palms turn up. awareness returning to breath. Just take the moment in stillness to observe the inhale, filling and expanding your body, and the exhale, softening into the muscles. We gradually awaken the physical body with movements through fingers and toes, movement through your wrists, ankles, elbows and knees, hips and shoulders, each vertebrae of the spine, full body stretch, pointing through the toes, reaching arms overhead, breath in, open mouth, sigh release. Knees drawing in towards chest. Give yourself a hug. And roll over onto your right side. Make your way into a seated posture. We'll open the arms wide, taking them overhead. Palms press. The prayer lowers through your crown, your third eye, your throat, and to your heart. We take 3 chants of Om to complete this class. Chanting with the next exhale, take a breath in. Bowing forward as you lift the prayer, thumbs coming to rest between your brow. We say to ourselves and each other, Namaste.